Earlier this summer I was approached by, or actually I should say last March, I was approached by Glenn Flood. He's the executive director for football PEI, and we had a discussion about the possibility of taking football back to Montague. And so Glenn and I had chats. I have 7 or 8 boys that helped coach the last couple of years in Vernon River Consolidated. Kind of got done with flag football fever. All of a sudden I realized these boys are loving it. My son John Ross is 15 and he's one of the leaders on this group. Being back in football made sense to me to promote it down here. So I contacted Benji Stevens, who I actually coached against back in the early 90s when I had the Wildcats and he had the Buccaneers in the varsity program on the island. And Shane Campbell, as he's a dad of Jesse Campbell, a running back, he played in Charlottetown a few years ago, not as many as us, but a few years ago. And so the 3 of us decided that we'd take this project on. It's been an interesting go because the coach, John Turner, in Summerside, we had a gear issue in August. We thought we had gear secured and we didn't. John Turner, coach of the Summerside Spartans, the champs from last year in the Bantam League, put us in contact with Arliss Wilson at a Fundy Football in St. John. And Arliss was great enough to give us as much gear as we could get on the kids and get it out, get them on the kids and get them on the field.
So what has the response been like from the players?
It's been tremendous. It has been tremendous. It's a great group of guys here. We've got guys ranging in age from 13 to 15, so you're talking guys from grade 8, grade 9, grade 10. There's some younger guys that happen to be just starting to really get comfortable with it, but you can imagine we have some big boys and we have some guys that are just starting to develop. So it's been tremendous. We've got over 27, 28 kids that are in gear. We've got, each week we were able to, and football PI is great, each week we had more people calling up wanting to know what's happening, and we were able to sign them to the roster. And what the plan is here is use this season as a building year, learn the game, and next year we're going to introduce the Bantam program again, but also the varsity program.
The team has had some early success. Why do you think that is?
You know what? It can't be because of the coaching. I'm going to say because there's a nice group of kids here that are passionate about it and they're having fun, and it's a totally different approach than any sport these boys have played. Other than the 7 or 8 boys from Vernon River who played flag football, none of them have played football before. Benji Stevens is key to that emotional drive, and Shane Campbell. They allow kids to have fun with this game, and we approach it a lot differently because it's a team game. You're not the fastest skater on the ice in this game. You need a team to support each other. If one guy misses a block, the whole team suffers. So it's a team bonding that has to happen, and I think that they're just having fun. It's so different and it's so new, and they realize that, hey, this is kind of cool. And fortunately for us, we've got tremendous athletes, and we got guys that bought into it early, and we picked up a win early, and then there's some momentum, and some more momentum after a couple of wins. We settled back in because our arch rival, the #1 team, the Privateers, sent us a note last Saturday that, hey, we're still #1 and you guys can't beat us yet. So we had a bit of a burst out of the gate, and we had 3 wins, and then we had our 2nd loss last week. But these kids have been playing football for 5 weeks, which is pretty cool.
How is this game different than the football you might see on TV?
This game is neat. It's 6-on-6. It's 6-on-6. So basically, in the Canadian League, you're 12-on-12. And American League, you're 11-11. This is 6-on-6. The field is 90 by 40. So a regulation field in CFL or college is 115 by 65, right? And this field is 90 by 40. So a little different. So there's 6-on-6. So your basic core group of guys, there's a lot of room still for 6 players to maneuver, but it's the same basic technique. But the other different thing here is all players, all but 1 player is eligible to receive the ball in any given play in this league, where in the 12-on-12, right, there's only a certain amount of players that can receive the ball. No lineman can. But here, players are able to develop, so you can have a big lineman or an offensive guard, and you can send them on a pass pattern, which in the 12-on-12 league, you can't do that.
So why is that an advantage, do you think?
Well, your development guys, what's nice about that type of idea, in the Bantam I see it as a real development, you're able to take you don't pigeonhole a player just because he's, let's say, we have a 13-year-old Trent McSwain, just a great boy. He's 13, right? He's 260 pounds. He's 5'10". He's loving it. Normally, he'd be getting pigeonholed. You're going to be an offensive guard, or you're going to be a defensive end. Those guys never see the ball. Like there's the receivers and running backs, and there's sort of the cooler guys get the touchdowns. Well, in this league, you get to have some big guys that normally wouldn't be able to do that. Be able to develop them for as a tight end, be able to catch the ball, run the ball. So it's teaching all the positions of the game, and kids are really having fun with it. The challenge is we have about 27, 28 guys, so on any given Saturday we've got about 23, 24 guys dressed. You only put 6 on offense, 6 on defense, so you then try to develop them quick enough so you can put the newer guys on specialty teams, kickoff returns. So that's the biggest challenge, just making sure that everyone gets a chance to play because it's new.
So why did you guys want to join the football team?
Well, I've liked football my whole life, and I wanted to try the sport. And my dad wanted to start a team, so good opportunity.
Yeah, I played flag football, and it was always wanted the aggression in it, so I joined tackle.
And yourself?
I just like it.
So you've been practicing for what, just over a month now?
Yeah.
About that? So what was it like sort of the first time you got on the field with this team?
A little rusty.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we learned the game pretty quick. We were at the start of the season. We didn't know much about the game, but we progressed quickly.
How much fun has this been?
A lot of fun.
It's just, yeah, probably the funnest sport. I've been playing hockey my whole life, and I think I might like this as much as hockey or more.
Why is that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a really good team sport. I like the intensity of it. We got a lot of different guys out here that some haven't played any other team sports, but they fit in here.
Are you surprised by how far you've come?
Definitely, yeah.
How so?
Just like the rate of success has been a lot more than I was thinking. Like we caught on really quick and won some football games.
Right. So the first practice would have been probably a lot of fun. But then what was the feeling like amongst you guys during the first game? Like when you actually got the field for the actual first official kickoff, what was going through your minds?
It was the team we were playing was, well, they beat us pretty bad that first game, but
Good team.
yeah, they're a really good team. At first we were pretty nervous at first, but once we started getting into the game, it surprised me how fun it was. Even though we didn't know much about it, we had a lot of fun.
I'll give the last question to you. What's been your most favorite moment or most favorite sort of specific part of being on the team so far?
First win, I guess.
The first win?
Yeah.
What was that feeling like for you?
Good, just the game before, no one didn't even know what they were doing at all. So in a week we came a long way, like a week and a half or something.
Can you tell me a bit about what you're practicing and working on tonight?
Oh, we're working on timing and getting some repetitions in so that we're just a little more, aware of what's going on. We have a lot of new kids that are, trying to learn a system, and we go with a system, we call it the KISS theory. It's called Keep It Simple, Stupid, where each player gets a number and each hole has a number, and we work through, the basic system of just teaching them who they got to take in a certain situation and try and make it simple.
Right. So how far have the kids developed over the past few weeks?
They're still very green. It's to be, starting probably 3 weeks later than the other teams. We're that far behind, but we have an incredible talent level. Amazing.
Yeah.
Truly amazing. Like some really gifted athletes and some big kids, but very, very green. And what we're running up against is being the only program that is here. The other ones have varsity teams, and the 15-year-old kids are allowed to play both. So a lot of these kids are developing against stronger, bigger players, and we're, playing much against ourselves, pretty much.
Right. So given that this team is quite green, what's been sort of the philosophy of, what plays you learn?
Basic, very basic. Like we're talking, give them a system where you take a lot of the thinking out of it, so they know. When you call a play, we'll call a 32, which is a 3 back through a 2 hole, a 33. You go right and left. It's very simple to show it to you on paper.
Yeah, sure.
But for us to show it these kids, their attention level sometimes is not all that great.
So how much fun has this been for you to be coaching?
Incredible. Incredible. Just terrific. To see kids that actually want to come to practice, that's been the biggest thing over the years. They come out, and some of the ones we hear that are fairly gifted hockey players would rather play football than go to their hockey practice. So must be doing something right.
So what do you think it means for Montague to have a football team again?
Well, if you could come and watch our game, there's probably going to be 100 people here. Go watch a high school soccer game, and that'll explain it for yourself. People enjoy it. They come and watch it. It's exciting.
Right. Sure. So you're playing Surrey, I think, on the weekend?
Yes.
How are you preparing for them?
Surrey? Surrey is a little weaker group, and it actually gives us a chance to get everybody to play. Last weekend against the Colonels of the Privateers, they were monsters. Like, a lot of kids didn't get to play, and we were scared to put some of the younger ones in.
Yeah. So how long do you think it'll be before, you know, the group as a whole is ready to face the sort of the bigger and more trained kids? Like, is this a years-long process, or?
No, we're actually awful close to being near the top, actually, believe it or not. But just because they are just so talented. The kids just, other than the Privateers, we haven't had a whole lot of competition.